Hello, living friends. I just made a very long recording after so many technical difficulties. And while I've still got makeup on, it's already so late. What's a little bit later when I can still talk about makeup, which is fun and a way to end the recording evening on an extra fun, happy note. So I want to discuss a little bit of makeup today. I keep wanting to try this new palette and, maybe even try the foundation, which is I got a really, really great sale, but still just knowing I don't know if I can get that sale again. So it's like, oh, I want to save it and conserve it and only use it for a special occasion. But you still have to try it. Like, let's say you're gonna have a reaction to it. Try it on a day where you're not, gonna be far from home or doing anything crucial where like you have a performance. That would not be the day to try make it for the first time for so many reasons. So you gotta try it on days that aren't so special, see how it works, etc. See if you want to stock up while the sale is still going on. But I was going out and I wanted to just really hurry up and get out the door and not, do anything fancy, not do 10 layers of eyeshadow, even though I want to play with eyeshadow more recently. So I thought, look, I'm only going to be seen for a couple hours. This, most mineral foundations, they look nice, but for a shorter time. They're not as robust. They're not as life proof. But as far as mineral foundations go, I love this L'Oreal True Match Mineral so much. I feel like it's reasonably priced. I mean, it is a little bit more for in the drugstore range. It's maybe medium to high-ish, but I just can't believe how well it works. I'm still experimenting with Bare Minerals, but I haven't gotten the greatest coverage, especially since you're supposed to use so little and buff, 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 buff. But if I can't even use a small brush to cover a spot, I'm just surprised that something so expensive seems to not work as well as something from the drugstore. So I love that you can get this fairly easily. This one, I've come to realize, I think neutral is my color. I mean, yes, I do seem to have some redness, like especially right after I wash my face, but when I use the cool toned one and the warm toned one, that's the other weird thing. If I remember correctly, I feel like the warm toned one just seems to work better than the cool. That's another reason I want to get, I want to maybe do more makeup under these lights, like really bright light, and things look different in the sun. So I use the neutral pretty much in general. Whatever the lightest shade of a range is, that's what I'll have. And for so long, the lightest shade wasn't light enough. And when things oxidize throughout the day, it gets darker. And so it's, in my opinion, better to start a little bit lighter and let the day take you darker rather than, at least in my, I'm trying to figure out what to call. Like, I like to be heavenly oriented. So heavenly light is very, very bright and reflects light. And sometimes that happens. I've been in pictures with people where you just see reflected light from me. And no, I'm not talking about flashback. I'm talking about, any skin. So really happy with this. I did then put flower powder over it. I find that to be a little bit darker, and I haven't loved it in some ways, but I partially use it to set it and to kind of increase the coverage, even though I was surprised how it was. Oh, that's the thing. So I just used face oil. I didn't even use primer. So I kind of couldn't believe how well it was working, but it's almost like it creates the foundation on your face with the oil the way it would coming out of the bottle. I think that was part of it. I don't know if just today was lucky, but I started setting it with the flower foundation powder. And then the usual, I did some Coty powder, some Maybelline lighter powder under the eyes. Then I did, I think, NYX Shimmer Blush, which has been running out so fast with this last one. I've been really surprised. And even the first one, all of a sudden it just hit pan and then pan everywhere. And I don't understand that because it looked like there was more there. And yet, no matter how much I dab into it, it doesn't seem to show up very brightly on the cheeks. So I'm like, where's it all going? Then I did the Body Shop bronzer. I'm not super into bronzer, never really have been, but I have it, got it on sale. I'm using it. Let's see what else. Oh, well, I guess I'll talk about eyeshadow next. So last night I was experimenting with these Colorpop Jelly Much shadows. I've experimented with it before. And here's the thing that made me sad. I knew that things like this dry out. So I kept the lids on really tightly. And I don't even think I'd worn these. I had just tested them on my hand, like so. And they not only have this screw top, but they also have this, I don't know what you call it, this thing to kind of keep it in from getting on the top and to keep the air out. And I'm pretty sure these are less than a year old, hardly ever opened. And yet they're not rock hard, but as far as something moussey can, on the range from how, if something starts out moussey, in the range from how it started to rock hard, it's on the more rock hard range. Like, not really usable. You can scrape it with your finger and you can like rub it really hard in your arm, but you don't want to be rubbing your eyelid this hard. That would not be healthy and or comfortable. So I've watched videos on what to do with the Super Shock shadows, which I haven't been so thrilled with. I'm going to keep trying them, but I don't know if this is as good as a top coat or what I also want to try is using it kind of as a base coat, like as a eyeshadow primer kind of thing, because I love sparkle and glitter and shimmer. So I'd be happy to have this as a base. And then maybe even put more on top after. But my sort of theory, feeling, whatever, is that these Super Shock shadows seem more like oil/silicone based. Now, I don't have a full understanding of silicone, but I just know that a lot of people are trying to revive these. I think some people may have used contact solution, I think. But I think what worked best was something like argan oil, beauty oil, a few different oils, and things like Inglot Duraline, which is, I don't know if it's considered professional, but the average makeup user is not going to have that. A professional makeup artist might. I don't remember it from my theater days, but I'm not sure how long it's been around. So the Color Shock seems to be more add oil to revive, let it sit, and or put oil on the top or oil on your finger and then get what you want and then do it again the next time. But even this, it really takes some smearing to spread it out. This one is Moon Daisy. I wonder if they're gonna have some again. I like it. It's got, I see, pinkish, bluish, purplish. They call it an ultra glitter, but I mean, to me, this is just shimmer. It's so fine. It's way too fine to be glitter. And yet other ones they call super metallic, and I don't see them as that different. So anyway, back to the jelly shadows. So I knew you could revive these, and these seem much more water-based. So I thought to myself, okay, setting spray. But I didn't want to spray it directly in here because if it did not go well, it might ruin the whole thing. And then what would I do? So I got these palettes. They're great, especially for like lipstick. And anytime you're doing makeup on someone, you take the makeup, you put it on the palette, you don't touch the original applicator or the original source with what you're touching their face. And so if you had to get more, you'd go to a clean spot so that you're not contaminating. And that's how you can use makeup on different people safely. But that's totally flat. So here's one thing I do. Do you ever get takeout and you get these great plastic lids? It's kind of like disposable Tupperware where you can reuse them until they crack in the freezer, or they're good for giving leftovers to people to bring home. So you put these through the dishwasher on the sanitary cycle, and then you can also wipe them with alcohol as you would a palette. But they've got the lip, so this way you put a chunk of that on there, you spray your setting spray a few times, you whisk it around with a brush, and that tells you how this is going to start performing. Then you can start putting it in your hand. You can play with it on your face. Last night, I put it all over. And so I kind of want to do some videos where I'm just playing. In fact, you know what? Again, it's so late. might even do it today. But I came to realize, okay, when this is mixed in, this is reviving it and it's working well. And I don't remember if these were originally budge proof, but the setting spray naturally is not really moving much. Now it might take some of the glitter off. Let's see. In color, but I had to press it fairly hard, like just lightly isn't going to do much. So that's great. Now here's the thing. This is the Body Shop makeup setting spray with aloe vera, all day wear, fade, and smudge resistant. Now, first of all, it sprays you like a shower, whereas I think the more highly recommended mists are a mist. Now, it'd be interesting to put this in that bottle because I'm running low on the other one, but I'm also kind of conserving the other one. It'd be interesting also to kind of mix and see what happens. But I kind of want to do that only after I've got a new bottle. So the e.l.f. is the one that came highly recommended, and I would recommend it. So with one of them, I sprayed it in a bunch of times, and it seemed to absorb really quickly, like a sponge. Took a cleaned off with alcohol pin and mixed it around, and so it was mixed more thoroughly. And then it got to the lower layers. The other one, I think I just sprayed it in and left it and wanted to see what it would do overnight. I don't know if I checked on it or not, but point being, this one was a more orange one ready to go. And today, since I was just going to be out a little while, orange is not my kind of color. Now, I did have a hot orange backpack long ago, but that was because that was the only neon color they had. It wasn't quite neon, but close. And I like bright colors. So I would rather have like a bright orange than like a dark eggplant. So I tried it. And again, I was in a hurry. So I just put it everywhere, like up to like about here. And I'm usually someone who kind of goes big with things. So I didn't love it just stopping, even though I seem to like that look on other people. So I kind of blended it. Oh, this tickles. I blended it up to kind of fade out. And I liked it. I felt like it was really nice for spring. Then I put the purple lavendery NYX eyeliner on liquid. And I thought that usually bothered my eye, but I haven't had issues. I didn't really put anything under my eye. I guess sometimes I'll get tears down here that start to take away the makeup. So I didn't go that direction with it. So that's the thing. Depending on what I'm doing, I am conscious of, okay, I may not want stuff here because the tears will collect. Sometimes it stings more, and then also the makeup's going to come off. So things went really well today. I've had it on at least 11 hours now. And I mean, is it looking as fresh as it was? No. Is it a little bit in the creases? Yeah. But I'm surprised how well it's holding up. Now, I did use some of that setting spray, the one that I mentioned, but just a little bit. And so that's why I'm kind of surprised it's doing this well. But I think the setting spray has to be a big part of it. I mean, you got to test things. And it wasn't this one. This was the one I used for the jelly shadows. And, so for brows, I went back to using the Maybelline pomade. It is fairly dry, but when you kind of do this, it gets enough color on. Like when you're blonde, you don't need a ton of color. So I did that. And then I've been using the Tarte Busy Gal Brows. I'm new to it. It's like my second time using it. So the first time I used it, I just used that and I pushed it into the skin and I was like, wow, that's kind of dark. And at first I was like, it's a little too much maybe. And then I used a spoolie to kind of go out with it, even though it's got a spoolie. This time I used it more as like the kind of gel that you would set your eyebrows with. I still spoolied it through. And at first I felt like it was kind of dark, but as the day went on, like later I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh, it looks fine. I think part of it is getting used to it. I don't know if it softens after a while or what the story is. And then I think I used the mascara from something I was reviewing. I was surprised when I went back to the one I used to love, it didn't seem to give me as much. I gotta test some more. But the thing is, I find when you do this setting spray, it can take out the curl of your eyelashes if you just did that. But if you do it after you put mascara on, and if it's not dry, then it can mess up, make the mascara go up here and stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, do the setting spray, wait, then curl, then mascara, or curl mascara, wait, fully dry, then setting spray. But probably before mascara is making more sense. But I haven't really seen too much commentary on that. So one of the main points I just wanted to say, though, these are back to total usability. I'm very glad. And I'm happy how quick it is and how much I like it because it is nice and metallic. And the other thing that surprises me, I was testing out some other makeup yesterday and it really kind of like peeled away almost from here. So it kind of surprises that is a surprise that it's still holding up. It really hasn't creased because it is kind of, you'd almost expect it to flake off, but it's doing well and it's great and hard. So here's the other thing I did. So normally I wear long wear lipsticks, which I did going out, but then I wanted more color after eating. So I put some matte lipstick on, which I had gotten to try, but I don't love it. And so I use it when I'm going to be on Zoom or at home, where if I want to retouch, I can, but I don't like matte. I don't know why. I think it was because it claimed to be long wear. So I thought it was like the long wear I use, like the Infallible and the Maybelline Superstay and Lip Sense, but it's nowhere near there. Totally comes off when you eat. Like it's just maybe a little bit more staying power than regular, very shiny, creamy lipstick, but you're sacrificing the moisture and it's very dry, uncomfortable. And I don't like the look of matte for myself. So I love shimmer and whatnot. So I took some, I can even use what's on top now. I think I could even store it upside down as well. So I took the jelly shadow and onto the lips it went. Now, as I did, it kind of blended in with the matte and it lost some of the shine. So I've now applied this 2 or 3 times to re-shinify it. And I really like it. Like it reminds me of frosted lipsticks from, I think, the 60s. I'm suddenly like feeling almost delirious with tiredness. Not tiredness, but knowing it's super late. So I feel like, wow, this has versatility. Now, I don't know that this would make sense to put on the really long wear lipstick I'm used to because it's wet. So a powder type thing might make more sense if I wanted that kind of thing. Which leads me to my next point. Let's say I didn't like this on my eyes at all. Well, I could use it on my lips. I could use it on my cheeks, maybe as a blush or something, or face paint. So I might start a new video, but I've got eyeshadow that I really don't think I'm going to use on my eyes much. And a lot of the colors are very similar. So I said to myself, I don't want to waste it. I don't want to end up with almost no eyeshadow of the colors I like and then all this leftover just sitting here. So stay tuned for having fun with your makeup that you may not want to wear for every day, but you still want to use it. And you want to just have the soothing feeling of playing and making art and enjoying colors. And the benefit being, you can see how they perform. Like putting it on your cheeks will still tell you a little bit about what it will look like on your eyelids and how it feels, looks, etc., without having to wait for a day to just do it in the eyes. Like it can give you a lot of good swatching on your face. I've seen people do that, like just drag their finger down with eyeshadow on their forehead. Because the thing is, when you do this, you don't have foundation here. When you've done foundation first or any kind of base, it's going to be different than on a bare arm. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. So stay tuned for how to play with your makeup and even use it as face paint, have fun, make fun designs, totally abstract things. The other day I made a design. It kind of went like this. And I thought it almost looked like one of those zodiac signs, I think on a Taurus. But then I added some shading and I felt like it looked like a monkey or like a sloth, just fun animals. And it made me think of Cirque du Soleil. So I've always loved makeup design for theater. I've always been oriented more towards that than everyday makeup. I feel like most of the YouTubers on makeup YouTubers seem to be like everyday makeup that you'd actually wear out in person. I am more, how can we make someone into an animal? Plus, coming from face painting as well as theater makeup, I go a little bit of a different direction. So let's bring in some more fun. Until next time, peace be with you.